The minor mode. Part 4. Wait a second. There is something seriously wrong with the writing in each of these minor mode chord progressions. Can you find the voice leading errors? Look closely. Yes, each of these bad examples contains a melodic augmented second interval, which we know is against the rules. In A, B, C, and D, the alto voice is the rule breaker. In E and F, it is the tenor. Why this is wrong was discussed in a previous video. See link in the description. How do we get rid of the melodic augmented second? Easy. The previous video discussed how, in a dominant to subdominant or 5-6 progression, or the reverse, 6-5, we simply double the third of the sixth chord instead of its root. Listen. We can often avoid the melodic augmented second when connecting other pairs of triads by applying the technique of contrary motion. For example, listen to these minor mode connections between a pair of dissonant triads, the 2 diminished and 3 augmented triads. Incidentally, don't worry about the dissonant triad followed by another dissonant triad yet, as we haven't discussed preparation of dissonances. As for that circle of fifths connection between 2 diminished and 5, contrary motion saves the day again. We allocate the 6th and 7th degrees of the harmonic minor scale to separate voices, and voila, no melodic augmented seconds. What happened here? We tried to retain the common tone in the same voice, moving the other voices to the nearest chord tones, according to the rules, and made a big mess. One voice, either alto or tenor, is forced to break the new rule regarding no melodic augmented intervals.
I just did what I was told to do.
Yes, you did, but that is what happens when we obey rules without thinking. Here it is a question of priorities. The no melodic augmented intervals rule is practically an absolute in 4-part vocal writing. Notice that we don't retain the common tone, the note B, in the same voice. We move the B to a different voice. So to connect 2 diminished and 5 in minor, use contrary motion. An alternative, switching one chord to open position would technically allow us to retain the common tone in the same voice. Unfortunately, confusing difficulties can come up once open position chords enter the mix, so we advise first semester theory students to find close position solutions to the exercises. Figured bass. We recall that figured bass follows the key signature. So, a bass figure consisting of only an accidental refers to the altered third, say the artificial leading tone found in the 5 or dominant triad, in minor. Figured bass. So what do you think these figures represent? Yes, this is the augmented 3 triad of the minor mode, created by raising the 7th scale degree to produce the artificial leading tone in minor. Note that these are root position triads, and that both figurings, the sharp following the 5 and the slash through the 5, mean the same thing. Each of these is an initial chord of an exercise to which we have applied figures. They are all root position triads. The figures indicate the starting note of the soprano, and perhaps the position of the upper voices as well. What follows is a demo of how to realize the figured bass. The starting lineup of voices, bass line, and figuring are given, as yet unrealized. Think of this as the point de départ of lines of musical code. First and second chord realized, remainder figured and unrealized. Soprano starts on C, alto on A, and tenor on E. Working from the figures of the initial chord, voices progress to the second chord, according to the rules. Third triad. The lone sharp with the bass note E designates the third of the dominant or 5 chord, which is G sharp, the artificial leading tone of A minor, our key signature. Fourth triad. The figure 5 with a slash through it designates the raised fifth of the mediant or augmented 3 chord, again a result of our chromatically raising the 7th scale degree from G to G sharp. We finish working out the rest of this demo according to the voice leading rules we know. Now, listen to the complete realization. It takes time and repetition to learn and automatize all these rules, so don't feel bad if you have to go over earlier videos again and again. By all means, post a comment if you have a question, share with someone, and subscribe for updates. Next, food for thought. Student assignment. To get used to handling triads in minor keys, transpose the demo to these keys, C, B, and B flat minor. The transposed bass lines are given, as well as the thorough bass notation adjusted for each key. You only have to add the upper voices. Student assignment. Continuation. Transpose the demo to these minor keys, G sharp, G, and F sharp minor. Here are the transposed bass lines. By the way, these are all root position triads, no inversions. You just have to add the upper voices. Thank you for your attention.